Hello everybody there. Hi, how are you doing? I am Gosia from Cosmic Agency, and I think I am going to stop saying that I'm Gosia from Cosmic Agency because I think it's quite obvious, and especially because there is a name, there is my name here with the channel name also popping up on the screen. So I think I'm going to stop saying that. Now this video, I think you're going to be very happy with this video. You'll enjoy this video. It continues with the subject of health. But this time it's going to be, especially in the second part, it's going to be about how they view the whole health subject and health sector in their culture, in their planets, in Taygeta. But it's going to be two parts. First part is going to be given by Swaruu of Erra, which actually it's not given, it was part of the conversations, like most of these chats are, just conversations. And here, Swaruu is expressing her opinion and a little bit of her frustration about how people were not understanding that everything she was talking about, and even videos about technology, do connect to health, do connect to how to improve your health and how to improve your life. This was based on a question that we passed from someone in the Spanish world. That was back a few years ago when we were describing in detail the technology of their ships, navigation and all that. And well, some people were saying, I don't need to know that. I want to know how to heal. Why don't they talk more about medicine and how to heal ourselves? For example, how to cure cancer, etc. So we passed this question to Swaruu, and here she's explaining why actually this whole subject is pretty delicate and difficult to explain, and controversial, because there's just too many differences between how they view what the sickness is and how they view what the medicine is and should be, and how we view it here. And also she's expressing a little bit of disappointment that people at that time didn't understand that the technology and the frequency manipulation, behind that navigation technology has to do with a lot with how our mind, our zero-point energy reactor within our own mind works, and how we can improve our health, improve our life by applying those ideas. And how by breaking us from the matrix, from the limiting ideas within the matrix, how that is also steering us toward improving our health. Anyway, I don't want to tell you everything there is to say on the subject from what she said. You will see this in this video. And then the second part is going to be given by Aneeka. And here Aneeka is explaining how their whole health sector is seen at their homes in Taygeta, how they view what the sick person is, what is sickness, how they view this, how they approach this, how they treat sicknesses, different methods of diagnosing and treating the ill, the patients. Also, whether they have hospitals, plant medicine and all that, how they approach pregnancy, how they deal with that. Also, Robert is asking about depression. Do they have depression in their society, etc., etc. A lot of really interesting questions and a lot of really very good and helpful, very interesting and curious information from Aneeka. I hope with this video you'll understand a little bit more the differences between our societies and why this topic is so difficult to bridge, because there's just so much that differs. Our approach to health, our approach to what treatments are and should be, and theirs. And also in the next video, I'm going to present you with what I have on the topic of cancer, not the complete essay or topic in this area, but what was said in few conversations. Anyway, enjoy the video, and I'm going to see you very soon to introduce the second part. Information given by Swaruu of Erra and Aneeka of Temer to Gosia, Robert, and others
between 2019 and 2021. Originally in English. Question from the public. Why don't they talk more about medicine and curing illnesses? Our medicine is different from yours. It is not based on symptom suppression. It is based on cause removal. This takes time and dedication, mainly lifestyle changes. People don't like this answer because they are expecting something I cannot give. And that is medicine from their angle, from a Terran point of view. They cannot see that I am giving them the cure for all illness. It is the liberation of their minds for the schism they are in. The higher density is not the one who regenerates people and removes illness. It is the state of mind of the people who are living and manifesting that density. Any cure I give them would be only symptomatic or temporal, and many of the things my medicine knows may not even work for them there in 3D. And this may be a potentially dangerous situation for us, you and I, because if something goes wrong with the person, because they followed my instructions, then the fault would be on us. One of the things that differ the most between humans on Earth and us is the medicine subject. They need lifestyle changes that they cannot accomplish while inside the money matrix, because it demands money they do not have. For example, a man may have cancer. I have the cure. But he cannot follow my instructions, which are to leave his job, buy a boat, eat properly, and move to the beach, to get a life that is fulfilling to him, to give his life new meaning and value from his point of view and needs. He cannot follow my cure because he is living day to day in an office job he hates, and he has no money to even go to the beach for one weekend. I am doing my best to cure all illness, and that is to remove the matrix. Even the few things that I can give them to help are seen as not the cure, because they expect fast and dramatic changes, and they must work on the cure, not just swallow a pill. They must be committed to their health. I cannot give them anything that can reverse a lifetime of abusing their body. If that should occur here, the person would be med-podded, and that is a solution, to start over, taking better care of their body. But I cannot give the people a med-pod, because the cabal would remove that technology immediately. They expect me to behave like a human doctor, giving human solutions. I am not that. What I teach is never need a doctor again. But they must work for it. It is their responsibility. I am giving the how to improve health everywhere, but people cannot connect the dots. Food is medicine for us here. It is all herbal, natural, frequency-based. In the case of humans, the medicine food includes animal meat and products, and so we enter another controversial subject and terrain. I cannot even talk about malnutrition without ending up talking about animal rights and suffering. And then it would degrade into past life, karma, and prenatal agreements and plans for experiencing this or that. I am giving the cure everywhere. It is their work to understand the message. It is all connected. I don't even know what I can give as for medicine, as the plants and herbs you have there are only like 10% of what I have here, or less. So no use in telling you about this or that plant. And also, it is their work to look for herbal properties and what they may be good for. To seek a tribal medicine man or woman. Those are the real medicine doctors. Not those horrible ones in white robes that really have an esoteric meaning. It is their work to research this area. My work is to tell what area to research. You said that people don't care about technology we describe so much. And I do feel a bit disappointed about that. And the reason they don't care is because they see it as more science fiction or things they cannot use in their daily life. This is not so, as the toroidal immersion of a starship engine can also cure cancer, among so many other ailments, because it can accelerate the life-changing angle. It can accelerate the life-changing angle? What do you mean? A medpod works manipulating frequencies, as a starship engine does as well. So the technology is there, contained in the technological videos. And the minute they understand frequencies, then they will also understand how they can change themselves using mind alone. Not to mention that a starship can take you to exactly where and when you would be happiest. Breaks my heart to know people are not so interested in starships and technology, and they do not see that it is all connected. I am not here to give them what they want to hear. Plenty of aliens around talking about spirituality and healing frequencies that in the end do not work because their mentality is not aligned with it and with their own health. They want a pill, a cure, and cancer, for example, does not work that way. So most of the rumors out there about governments having the cure are false, or they may have efficient retarding or symptom suppressing methods. But notice something here. It's all focused on the problem and not the cause.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Swaruu of Erra words, and I hope you understand a little bit more the dilemma here and what she was trying to express and how it all is truly connected. Now, the second part here, as I already said, is about Taygeta society and how they view health and what their approach to health is. So enjoy this part. I'm pretty sure you're going to like this, and I'm going to see you in the next video already. Enjoy, and bye-bye.
Other conversations, originally in Spanish. Health system in Taygeta.
The role of physician in Taygeta is general life support, care of a population or group as an elder or a sage. There are no specialties, just that one or the other person may be better at something. So a patient will be sent to that person. But in general, you do your best to know everything about everything in medicine. Like me here. If it's something more difficult, like something mechanical after an accident, for example, you would send that person to Sinetra who has surgeon training. As you go along, you gain a reputation of being good at something in particular. You can say that this is the specialty, and this is where it is possible to specialize in something in general. But unlike on Earth, here it is not encouraged or advised to specialize, neither in medicine nor in anything else. One always aspires to know everything about the subject from every possible angle, and in general about everything and about all existing subjects. The process of study to practice as a physician in Taygeta is the reading of the history and characteristics of medical problems, then the application of substances in plants. And why plants? Because we have been always vegan. But in the case of other species, the necessary diet for each species must also be observed. Then most importantly, learn as you go with a mentor with practice within a medical center. For example, large ships and serious operations are also considered schools for a myriad of activities. More than anything else, you learn on the go, and alongside an advanced and highly experienced physician. In the case of this ship, it is Senetre, and only after a period of time, which is not fixed, but depends on the experience and each individual's capabilities and accumulated experience, the mentor gradually releases the cadet until he realizes that he has enough experience to work on his own without the mentor's presence. In itself, this would be like a graduation moment for someone on Earth. The permission or recognition from your mentor to perform on your own because you have more than adequate experience. It can be a process of many years or shorter, depending on the capacity of each person, as said above. And after some time, this new expert may take under his tutelage one or more student cadets, passing on his wisdom to them. And they will repeat this again to the next generations. Having a foundation of medical knowledge is taking as part of what one needs to know in order to have a full life. That is, every inhabitant of Taygeta knows that he must have a lot of medical knowledge for his own protection and application throughout life. But there are a few who truly specialize. The dedicated doctors being more common on spaceships, where the health and life of an entire crew far from home depends on them. Again, Senetre's responsibility here. The relationship of doctor and patient, generally speaking, is very much like between friends. The doctor does enter into a close relationship of trust with the patient, especially if it's a long-term problem, such as a systemic or metabolic problem or imbalance. The body as a vehicle and its functioning is seen as an integral part of an individual. It is not viewed disparagingly or as something to be transcended in favor of something spiritual. It is not seen as something limiting, but something that follows you and is a reflection of yourself. Optimal qualities of the body can be seen or perceived as being as in close agreement as possible with the plan or what is established or written in the person's DNA. That is why it remains in an optimal state of development of about 23 years in women and about 25 to 27 in men, compared to Earth. The aging here is different because there is no the same cellular decay that occurs on Earth. The body can age or look more mature with the passage of time, but only as a result of the mentality and ideas of who inhabits it. And the life expectancy on Taygeta, calculating it from a personal temporal perspective, is at least 10 times longer than on Earth.
Do you have depression? They say it is a very bad disease.
It is, because it is completely self-destructive. Let's say it is rare here, but yes. The problem or difference is that here it is deadly. On Earth too, but I mean here it is usually deadly. This is because we are more percentage of energy because of the density. It shuts down the flow of vital energy. It shuts down the organs.
How interesting. I did not know all of that. and that depression was self-destructive. Do you know what depression is due to on Earth and how it can be cured?
It is a very difficult problem because there are as many causes as there are individual cases. Sometimes within an individual, there are also several causes, making it all a compound problem. It is a dissatisfaction with oneself for not being able to solve the pressing problems. A person enters into despair as she feels a strong helplessness. To solve it, I cannot give a general formula, but something that can help in general is to lighten the life of extra charges, especially the useless details. Less responsibilities, to have more time to solve pressing problems or simply to heal. And remember that happiness will never be found in things that are external to yourself, neither objects that make you happy, like a new car or watch, nor people waiting to validate your worth.
The sick in general in our society are someone who for one reason or another suffer from an energetic imbalance that is reflected as a problem or malfunction in a weak point within their body that is intimately related to the root of the problem. Imbalances always occur in the body, but we intervene only when it does not return to normal on its own, often because what is causing it is not resolved. In Taygeta, it is rare for people to get sick. I have not calculated it, but I dare say that it is very rare compared to what happens on Earth, as in a number of sick people per number of inhabitants. The most used remedies in Taygeta are rest, fasting, herbal medicine, that is, remedies based on infusions of plants and substances removed from medicinal plants. We also use a lot of energetic therapy using specific frequencies known to us that affect certain cells in particular. This is very useful to accelerate the healing of a wound or a broken or fissured bone. As in means of therapy, we also have specific sound therapy by putting the person in a sensory suppression chamber. Then also healing with quartz and programmed stones, colors and smells as well, combined in a therapeutic way to remove post-traumatic stress, for example. The use of artificial drugs is minimal, preserving the essence of the natural, mostly to accentuate the effect of some necessary active substance, and the well-known medical pods, removing the cause of the problem, is also important. Images from Star Trek, but based on the real ones. They're from Star Trek, but we all know what they were based on. A lot of things are almost identical to what we have, like those medical sensors. They shouldn't be missing from any medical cabinet. The closest one I've seen, it looks like mine. The device shows you the inside of the body, interior view for your inspection without x-rays, and all in high definition. Nervous, cardiovascular, gastric system function, complete blood analysis without external samples, blood pressure, heart rate, vascular obstructions, tissue oxygenation, specific tissue analysis even inside the body, toxicology, bioelectrical system or auric field, hormone levels, functioning of endocrine glands, and connection to the ship's major holographic computer for further data if required. You can see the interior as if it were a screen, or you can put it on a large scale as a hologram outside the device in front of you. As a basis, the knowledge about medicinal plants is similar to that on Earth, only with 10 times more variety of those plants. Let's say your medicine would be comparable to how it would be on Earth after thousands of years of honoring plants, not going for big pharma allopathic medicine. There are places to go to get the products, but only in large population centers. In Taygeta, people know their plants, and they often heal themselves or their loved ones, only seeking help when the problem goes beyond.
Question from a follower. Do ETs do laying on of hands to heal or only with technology?
Both, or they just heal mentally without hands and at distance as well. It just doesn't work very well towards Earth. They would have to be near. There are hospitals or medical centers in Taygeta, also in the larger population centers, taking into account that a city in Taygeta is not like those on Earth. The cities are more extensive, located among the nature, only a few of them being totally technological, as would be the center of Tolika City, the capital. You can relate these places to a hospital, but with the big difference that the patients are put there in places suitable for each of them according to their needs and preferably in nature, as in huts nearby, for example, depending on the problem. But most people follow all the treatment from home as it should be. I speak only of the really serious cases where they need a lot of apparatus to monitor them, or after serious accidents, but that do not require med pods. There are large, low-rise buildings with fast communication between their wings, usually in the shape of a circle. Rescue or SAR ships leave from these medical centers. Talking about pregnancy in Taygeta, it is checked for risk factors to be treated, and in general, the gestation process is closely monitored. And births are almost exclusively underwater unless there's a problem. Cesarean sections are very rare. Even problems with the baby that may be the cause of cesarean can mostly be corrected or fixed before birth, such as in the case of tangled umbilical cords, a bad position, baby sitting up, or even abnormalities or deformities that can be corrected before birth as well. We have remote manipulation systems, that is, it is not invasive. In the medical centers, there are places for risky pregnancies or if the patient decides to give birth there, but the vast majority of births are at home. That is what is customary. With medical assistance, of course, but at home. We have remote manipulation systems, as I was saying, where the device energetically holds an instrument, hand, or whatever is necessary, passing it with technology similar to that of the portals inside the uterus. It does the necessary work and then comes out in the same way without a scalpel or anything else. And they also have devices and protocols for preparing the mother to give birth. They don't come in not knowing anything, and their bodies have already been exercised or physically prepared for the birthing process as well. Anesthesia is used only if required by the mother, but rather than chemical drugs, it is done with energetic interference on specific nerves with a device. It works faster, better, and its intensity can be graduated at the moment as needed, unlike the chemical. And this technology is used for many things in medicine, not only for childbirth. It is worth mentioning that a parthenogenesis delivery is considered high risk in Taygeta and should be followed with care and full medical attention when possible. And not only because of virginity, but because the entire vaginal tract is not ready or strengthened due to the lack of use or stimulation that a woman with a partner would have. This is reflected in the lack of elasticity of the entire area, which promotes tears and similar problems. Also, the musculature of the entire pelvic area is not equally exercised for the same reason. If a child is healthy, there are no more necessary checkups apart from what can be done by the family itself, since they all have a fairly advanced knowledge of medicine. More so because they are expected and made to study everything related to pediatric health when they have a child at home. Self-responsibility for their health on the part of every citizen. Birth control pills. They have been used for a very long time, and the hormonal compounds have been greatly refined, leaving them only as specific traces that do not interfere with the body and its normal processes. This especially in the Taygeta variants rather than the human ones. On Earth, it has been said to have many contraindications and even cause weight gain. But what we have seen from here is that there is no substantive basis for that. I consider it one of the safest methods, if not the safest. It is used in Taygeta.
Does abortion exist in your civilization?
Abortion is a very difficult subject on Earth because it is loaded with multiple moral, ethical, biological, and especially religious questions. In Taygeta, yes, abortion exists, and it is practiced without problems and without prejudice. But it is because here, not having the veil of oblivion, and because of technology, we already know for sure, and I speak of Taygetan science, that the soul or Atma of the baby does not begin to enter the body until 2 to 3 weeks of gestation. Before that time corridor, 2 to 3 weeks, it is safe to abort because it is just a bunch of cells. After that period of time, it is murder. These time periods apply on Earth as well. And if they knew this as well as we do, for sure there would be no discussion and no problem of any kind.
Human medicine and Taygeta medicine have nothing to do with each other. They're very different. The concepts of epidemic, pandemic, vaccines, and all that is non-existent in Taygeta. The population is not vaccinated against anything. The population's health is strengthened instead. If many people get sick from something, then it will be investigated, as it happened with plants that turned out to be toxic growing in a village, for example. The concepts of pathological microorganisms, be they cellular or exosomes, viruses, are completely different as well. They're only seen as opportunistic because of a separate imbalance that must be resolved. Then they are attacked with plants if necessary, and they work 1,000 times better than human antibiotics. For Taygeta, a virus does not exist. It is an exosome, and it is a normal thing. Epidemics, etc., we understand it with the most obvious simplicity. They're being affected by the same thing, and we will have to investigate why and what it is. Even infections are not taken as an invasion of microorganisms, but as a vulnerability in the body of which the microorganisms took advantage. It will then be seen what and why you have that vulnerability. If it is not resolved, then the problem will develop into something chronic, and that is what we are trying to avoid. For example, there is a village that is mysteriously getting sick. It may be or usually is caused by a common factor but unknown to them yet. Then an investigation into what all the sick people have in common and how they are different from those who have not gotten sick in the same community takes place. Then you might come to the conclusion as to what the cause is. For example, if fungi with their spores have grown in a typical way and are contaminating upstream from where the town gets its water, we could investigate why these fungi have grown there in order to prevent it from happening again. Or if the entire community is getting sick with respiratory ailments, it could be because they are all under stress from some external event, and that is the one that needs to be solved. We also consider mental or psychosomatic causes as the main cause of disease. Although we know what causes all diseases in the case of such an infection like bacteria, but in the case of fungus spores, it is simply a toxin in the water and therefore a poison. But there can be a cause, for example, of a major dietary deficiency that may cause one place or another in the body of almost the entire population to suffer from a lowered effectiveness of the immune system in that area. The sites in the body most commonly in these circumstances are all components of the respiratory system and then the gastric. Death occurs when a body has already accumulated many problems and deficiencies and can no longer function. Although in theory, it can do so indefinitely with the help of medpods, but the population in itself is the one that does not wish to be eternal, except for a few. With medpods, a 900-year-old woman can still look 20 years old, technically possible and easy. The problem is that 900-year-old women are not interested in looking 20, and many are not interested in staying alive. Death is not perceived in the same way as it is on Earth, where you know that it is not the end, that it's just the other door to something else. And 900 years or more is a long time to live with the same body appearance and context. And that is the real limitation for the lifespan, the ideas of the very person. But yes, there are a few who remain happily there well over 1,000 years, measured from their context, of course. But when a person or body dies, if you reach a point where it goes beyond what is possible for resuscitation, then it should be left alone, because they do not return or do not return well, as neurologically they do not function well anymore. The person is not there, no longer links with the body, even if healthy. There is no signal of soul, or it is weak, and it wants to leave, so it doesn't pay attention to the physical body. You can tell this by the progression of cell necrosis in key points of the brain, nervous system, and cardiovascular system. And again, it is done with medical devices with sensors, the same ones for autopsies. Earth's healthcare system is very purposely limited by those who control the cabal. That is, they could have medical breakthrough just by observing medical science and biology as they know it on Earth, with their very learning systems. But that too is limited to only what is accepted by those who control medicine. And although they are the same ones as the cabal, here we could say that those who are behind the general stagnation of human medicine are the big pharmaceutical companies and their owners, because the entire health system has been structured around the concept of making it an industry and not around helping people who are sick, because it's already gotten to the point where they are purposely causing people to get sick, so that they can milk them for money. And this has been filtered directly into the food industry as well, where they deliberately introduce toxins into the food to keep the human population sick for that very purpose specifically, and with excuses based on lies. The most obvious examples of these are sodium fluoride, monosodium glutamate, and artificial sweeteners. So, the whole medical structure on Earth is for the exploitation of the human population, just to keep them coming back for more, or to make them believe the lies of the doctors, who in turn believe the lies they're made to believe in the same system, just because it targets and alleviates the symptoms and not the cause. This is very important because the patient will feel better with their toxin medications, but the real cause is still there, latent, which allows a patient to continue to be exploited by the system. Herbal medicine, which is discredited by human medical science, is the only medical science with a real basis for healing system and metabolic problems, based on true biological chemistry. The problem is that the art of herbalism is being lost because the very discrediting and attacks of established medical science. This also fosters the emergence of misinformation and misunderstandings within the few communities or individuals who still use herbalism. This means that, in effect, there are charlatans both with and without malicious intent who can hurt people because they lack real information about which plants and when they should be taken to cure one disease or another, being that it is not only a question of knowing which plant to use for which disease, but also when to harvest it, at what stage of development of the plant, time of the year, which part of the plant should be used or not, and also how to prepare a potion with it or take it raw, and the chemical interactions it may have with other plants or substances that the individual may be taking. So a lot of precision is needed when using herbal pharmacology. It must be understood that for Taygeta, food is medicine. It is one and the same. We eat to be well. We do not eat because it is tasty with no regard for the consequences. And if we get sick, we take medicine. With very few exceptions, on Earth, the symptom is treated ignoring the cause. In Taygeta, you understand the genesis of the problem and solve the cause. And in the process of solving it, you also attack the symptom. That is a big difference.